He's taking on Bob Foster, the Albuquerque sheriff, who'd been world light heavyweight champion already for 4 years. Could Finnigan destroy the legend of Bob Foster?
The hardest task that Finnigan has ever faced. Finnigan, southpaw style, he leads with his right. Look at this extraordinary height and reach of Foster. 6 feet 3.5 inches. He's about 3.5 inches taller than the challenger. Finnigan with Irish ancestry on his mother and father's side, wearing a shamrock on the right leg and the Union Jack on the left leg of his trunks. Foster said, while he was training, that the referee, Roland Dakin, wouldn't be needed to add up the card at the end. He'd win this inside the distance. And the odds against Finnigan really do say that too. And Finnigan clearly has got to do a bit of running here in the early rounds if he wants to survive to the later stages. And if he gets to those later stages, who's to say whether the strength in Foster's legs at the age of 33, whether that strength might begin to leak out of the legs. And if it did, then that might be Finnigan's chance. Foster specialises in the left hook and the straight right, and he's knocked men out with both punches. Foster's first really big left jab's getting through to the face of Finnigan. Finnigan, who is suspect around the right eye. He's had a lot of trouble in the past with cuts and swellings on the right eye. And that could well be where the greatest danger for him will lie in the early stages. See the difficulty that Finnigan's going to have getting near enough to him to land a telling punch. This man seems to reach out for you, and when he gets you, there's an awful lot of power behind the punch. But it's a fairly quiet opening round. Finnigan of Britain comes through the opening round without having found too much trouble, although there were 2 or 3 long left leads that rammed into the right side of his face, enough to issue a warning to Finnigan that there is tremendous power waiting at the other end of those long arms of Bob Foster's. Poker face Bob Foster from Albuquerque, who throughout his training has maintained this discreet attitude that there is no doubt he is going to win. Foster looking for him, and Finnigan will be trying to hide. We haven't seen a right at all yet from Foster. We saw one there, a short one. And Finnigan scampered away from those ropes. Finnigan's a pretty shrewd sort of character. He's got a good boxing brain, but he's going to need it all tonight. When Foster explodes those punches, he really does look the part of a good world champion. Certainly the best there's been since Archie Moore. Foster working to cut him off and to cut him down as well. Finnigan getting his left hand to work in the face of Foster, and Foster ignores it. Finnigan tries to open this up, he could well find a lot of trouble. Finnigan chances his arm with the left. Not a bad round for Finnigan. And Foster can hear this crowd roaring their appreciation of the way Finnigan went after him with the left hand. The southpaw's left hand, the big one. But Foster took it with no apparent disturbance. Didn't seem to shake him at all. And when you've been in with a man like Joe Frazier, who's the hardest hitting man in the world, that I don't suppose the punches of Finnigan mean a great deal to you. Finnigan gets all the encouragement from this Wembley crowd, and he'll need that and more besides. Finnigan working away from the left hand of Foster all the time. Finnigan gaining in confidence, using his legs well, using every inch of this 20-foot ring. Oh, there's the right hand, one jolting right hand. As Finnigan moved in, Foster had been waiting to put that one across. And there's the best reminder you could want of how dangerous this man is. Foster's corner now urging their man to come forward more. Finnigan took that right hand well. Foster's got the right cocked low now, waiting to fire it again. You get the impression that Foster hasn't yet really opened up. And he's waiting with that right, and there it is. And really Finnigan has got to work to stay to the later stages here. Well, he's not putting up a bad show. Round 4 coming up. Finnigan already has felt the full power of those jolting left leads, and he's felt what looked like one of Foster's best rights as well, and he's taken them well. Plenty of grease on the left eye of Foster. This is a suspect eye of his. He's had trouble with it in the past. In Finnigan's case, it's the right eye that gives him trouble. There's the right hand, and Finnigan very nearly went there, and if those ropes hadn't been there to hold him up, he might have been over. This man strikes with the speed of a cobra, built like a giraffe, with the speed of a cobra. One wonders how many of those right hands Finnigan can afford to take. There's a cut now appeared on Finnigan's face, and that's been put there by the right hand. It's down the left-hand side of his face, underneath the eye. This man Foster used to work in a bomb factory, and he looks as though he's carried some of those bombs out of the factory and stored them away in his gloves. Finnigan not nearly so sprightly as he was, and then the legs not moving so fast as they were. Noticeably now, Finnigan more hesitant to come to his man. Glad to turn quickly away from the arms of Foster and get back to the safety of the corner. Another right hand he really took full in the face. Here it comes now. And that point where it hit Finnigan is where he now has the trace of a cut. Underneath the eye, alongside the nose. So maybe this world light heavyweight title fight of Wembley now beginning to boil up into something very interesting, as Finnigan stands there with him, having successfully come through 5 and taken some of the champion's best shots, and making the champion move fast to get to him. Foster now working very, very hard indeed to land a big one on Finnigan, and finding now that a lot of his punches are being blocked or evaded. Foster pulling out a lot more in this round. Really trying to get on top again. Good right hand. Foster unmarked. Finnigan stealing some applause there with those light right hands. That's a good left hand from Finnigan. It's the best shot he's landed. And Foster took it well. Well, after the bell from Foster, but it must have been an accident. But the crowd don't like it. That was a good performance again there by Finnigan, who was taking one or two heavy punches at the start of the round, but towards the end was coming back and handing out a bit himself. Well, we've got one really good light heavyweight championship of the world on our hands here now. And at this stage, there can't be all that much in it. I think Foster's a shade ahead, but not by that much. Chase begins again. This lofty man from Albuquerque, New Mexico, Foster, comes stalking forward, always hunting. Finnigan at times proving an elusive quarry, but every now and again soaking up one of these big right-hand bombs that Foster specializes in. But the interesting thing so far is that Finnigan has shown himself capable of taking Foster's best punches, and maybe they won't come quite as hard the further this fight goes. Finnigan bouncing around this ring as though the fight's just started. That's a good right from Foster. He walked onto that one, went inside, and he got caught. But Finnigan has got guts and he still tries to come back. He's prepared to trade on with Foster. So Finnigan putting up the fight of his life against this great light heavyweight champion of the world. It's a great performance by Chris Finnigan. He's pulling the very best out of himself and forcing Foster to pull the best out of himself. But Foster carries the big one. Finnigan doesn't. But the British champion is going to fight until he drops. Another great effort there by Finnigan, who really for a moment in that round was in real trouble, and he got over it fast and came fighting back. So whatever happens now, this night is going to be remembered by Britain. Listen to this roar for Finnigan. So if Foster thought he had an easy one tonight, he's been disillusioned now. It isn't going to be easy, and he's going to have to fight all the way for victory. This is that Foster hasn't opened up the right eye of Finnigan, which has been opened up by lesser fighters than Foster. Finnigan has great reserves of stamina. He's a boy with a very slow pulse beat, and that always gives you stamina. And Finnigan has got plenty of it. I don't think Foster's taken a backward step in this fight. Always hunting. Left and a right. Finnigan swayed away, but he was knocked away as well. Tremendous performances by Finnigan. Bleeding from the nose, but giving as good as he's getting. Foster's piling it on, but the harder he puts it in, so the harder Finnigan fights back, but Finnigan is taking a lot. Round 8, and it's not a good one for Finnigan, but he's game. Very nearly punched to a standstill at the end of that one, Finnigan. The worst one he's had so far. Foster got a lot of them through that time, particularly in the last minute. And I suspect a great deal of Finnigan's tremendous strength has been drawn from him in the last minute of that 8th round. Now we'll see how much the 8th took out of Chris Finnigan, because Foster, I would think now, is sure to put on a big attack here to try to capitalise on what happened in the last one. Good left hand that was. Stropped across the face of Foster. And another one. couldn't ask any more than this from Finnigan. He's produced as good as anything he's ever done, probably better. But is it going to be enough? Again, thudding its way through the defences of Finnigan. But there would have been a lot of challenges on the floor by this stage, and Finnigan hasn't been down yet. He really does keep coming back, Finnigan. He's giving this man plenty of trouble. And Foster is having to work every inch of the way. Foster can't have had many harder challenges than this. He's defended the title successfully 10 times previously, and only once has he been taken the full 15 rounds, and that was by Ray Anderson. And it's beginning to look possible as though he might have to go 15 rounds in this one, because the man in the other corner is showing great guts and strength and stamina all the way. But he's got another 6 to go. And that's a long, long time against a man who punches as hard as Foster. So whatever else happens in this fight tonight, this will be remembered as a great performance in Britain by Chris Finnigan, 28 years old. You can see how the strength has been drawn from Finnigan. A lazy looking right hand that was, and an almost lazy way that Finnigan went down. Now this is the first real crisis for Chris. And he tries to fight back, but now he surely must be going. Foster looks to his corner. There's no more moving from Finnigan now. He's just got to slug it out from where he is. And still he picks up points off the face of Foster. The gameness of this British champion is really memorable. But it must be only gameness now. The red lights now really flashing for Finnigan. That right hand is getting through too often. Trapped on the ropes. And he looks like a man in a daze. Looking for Foster at the end of the tank. So there it was. It took to round 10 before we saw the first knockdown of the fight. 2 punches from Foster, the left and the right. And this is how it happened. Finnigan over towards the centre of the ring, the left, and then the right it was, an almost lazy-looking right. And that's because there isn't too much strength left in Finnigan. 5 rounds to go. And Foster now, perhaps feeling that the fight is within his grasp now at any time for the 11th successful defence. An all-time record in the light heavyweight division. Signals flash early on in the 11th for Finnigan. Foster now looking a little more jaunty, stepping a little more sprightly after that 10th round success. Look at the bounce in Foster now. There's blood on Finnigan's face. His left eye's gone, I think. And that's not the one he usually has trouble with. He's cut above the left eye, Finnigan. Foster now dances around in front of Finnigan like some black ghost, haunting him and taunting him as well. And the crowd don't like it because Foster's looking flashy now. Arms down. Almost as though he's saying to Finnigan, I've got you now, and there's nothing but nothing you can do about it. And there's no doubt about it. The champion is teasing Finnigan now. And that's what the crowd think of it. Touch of the Muhammad Ali now in Foster. The taunting of the victim. And a big attack being set up in the closing seconds of the 11th by Foster. And Finnigan really couldn't do much about it in that round. And he's cut over the left eye. And I think Finnigan now is having to haul the dregs of his strength, just about what's left of it now, calling on every last ounce of strength to keep himself in this championship fight. Finnigan a little slow to come off the stool. course, what has to be remembered in all this is how well Foster can go this sort of distance at the age of 33. It's not been an easy fight for Foster. And here he is in the 12th, bouncing around on those aging legs. Legs like matchsticks, but seem to be made of spring steel. And there isn't a lot of hope left in this now for Finnigan. That 10th round just about decided it. Notice how little of the ring Finnigan is using now, whereas before he was using it all. He's got a bruise coming up underneath the left eye, his nose is bleeding, the cut above his eye is bleeding. And Finnigan now is soaking it up, but still gamely coming forward. Foster content to bide his time, put the odd one in, try to keep his man on the end of the left and wait for the chance to sling the right. Nonchalant Foster that goes back to his corner, strangely content now just to stay on top, keeping command, and apparently not wishing to put the finishing punch in. Finnigan gamely striving here to get back into this against Foster, but it's all steeply uphill now. And I doubt if he's got the strength to mount any real attacks now that can change the course of a fight which seems to me inevitably to have gone right against him. Every now and again, that sharp reminder from Foster of what a good champion he really can be when he wants to be. Well, you award the marks for courage to Chris Finnigan. Still not a bad fight being put up by Finnigan in the 13th, when it had all looked over by the 10th. What a hard round this is to have been produced at this stage of the fight. Finnigan is cut on the right eye now as well as the left. Oh! Two shattering punches there from Foster. And Chris takes them well. This man's strength is astounding. And through all this trouble and pain, he still tries to box his way back. What a superb effort this is by Chris Finnigan. Cut now above both eyes, nose bleeding, marked underneath the left eye. But has put all his courage, all his strength, and all his technique into this attempt to win the World Light Heavyweight title from one of the great modern champions. Let's just have another rather painful reminder, painful for Finnigan, of these punches that he took. There was the right, and Foster found time to bring the left up as well. And how Finnigan stayed up, I don't know. 2 rounds to go. Pain and punishment all the way for Finnigan now.
Seconds out, round 14.
And this crowd at Wembley now really roaring Finnigan back into this. But he's a long, long way behind. Foster's got just 2 rounds here. Foster's got 2 rounds to fulfill the boast that the referee wouldn't be needed to tot up the points. And Finnigan very nearly put down there by another savage attack, and he goes, and this is probably the finish. I don't think even Chris Finnigan has got anything left now. He's counted out. Round 14. It had to be. He had nothing left to offer, but what a marvellous, marvellous challenge it was by Finnigan. And what a great champion Bob Foster really is. And Finnigan is still down there because there isn't the strength in him to get him up off the floor. Bob Foster, 33, in 55 seconds of the 14th round, keeps the World Light Heavyweight Championship, and the crowd at Wembley sets up a tremendous roar of appreciation for the gallant challenger, Chris Finnigan.
Gentlemen, please, in 55 seconds and on the count out in the 14th round, Foster is the winner.
Bob Foster proves himself to be the great world champion we knew he was.
How big country